Have you ever had the experience of arriving to a new city and thinking to yourself, this is not what I expected? Because that's how I kind of feel about Beijing. And I don't mean it in like a particularly good or bad way, to be honest. It's just different than what I was expecting. I tried my best not to watch any sort of like, other YouTubers' vlogs about the city because I wanted to have my own, first impression. So while I do know some of the main sites that they have here, I didn't really see other people's experiences of the city. And as we were driving in here from the airport, I was just very surprised that for the capital city of China, with a population just in this city of 22 million people, I expected it to be just more dense, like way more congested, and I expected very like tall skyscraper buildings. Of course, they have that in, their certain business districts, but overall, I'm actually quite surprised how low a lot of the buildings are, and the fact that there's these like huge, very wide like boulevards, at least in the parts of the city that I've been to so far. Obviously, I have not been everywhere, but it's just very chill. And I don't know how it's possible that a city of 22 million people can seem chill to me. So I'm just saying that that has been my experience so far. But why I am here is that I was actually invited by the Embassy of China in Canada on a press trip about Canadian-Chinese relations. And I will be getting some inside looks to some very interesting industries, here in China, and getting to see some places that I wouldn't have the opportunity on my own. So I'm very grateful for the invitation and very excited to share it with you guys. But that's actually in a couple of days. At the end of this vlog, I decided to arrive a few days early because I wanted to experience the city for myself and see some of the, main touristic and historic sites. So that is what we are going to do today.
Now, as most visits to Beijing begin, let's start with the most famous and historically important attractions, which are Tiananmen Square and the Forbidden City. Situated right beside each other, I would recommend scheduling to visit both in the same day, but you do have to make a prior reservation or stand in line for a very long time. As you will see, the security is very tight in this area, and you will need to bring your physical passport to enter the area. Personally, I would recommend booking a tour. That's what I ended up doing because it is just such a large and overwhelming kind of area because there's so many tourists that come here. So I will link the one that I went on down below, as well as some other great tours that I did, because then you do get a local who will explain the significance of everything you are seeing. Also, it's very convenient that they end up booking your ticket for you to get into all the different places, because to do it yourself on WeChat, it's a little bit tricky being in Chinese characters, and there's currently no English translation, so that would be my recommendation. But to give you a brief introduction into the area, Tiananmen Square is actually named after the gate in its north, which separates the square from the Forbidden City, and it translates to Gate of Heavenly Peace. It's here that you can find the monument to the people's heroes, the Great Hall of the People, which is more or less their parliament, and also the National Museum of China. As for the Forbidden City, this is a huge imperial palace complex that was commissioned in 1406 by the Yongle Emperor of the Ming Dynasty. It was named Forbidden because access to the area was only granted by the emperor, and those who he chose to keep inside rarely had access out. I know some people will appreciate this, so let me show you guys, even though I have shown it in other videos. When you are in China, you have to download Alipay and WeChat. It will make your life so much easier, and they're really the main payment methods. But what some people don't know is that you can also buy your metro tickets, or like order a taxi, which is, you know, Didi right there. You can do basically everything you need to do from Alipay. It's a super helpful app. So first you have to sign up for a transit app, which I already have, and it automatically tells the location that you are in. So here, for example, it already knows that we are in Beijing. So here is my Beijing Metro card. You also have like a separate one for the bus, which I actually have not set up because I haven't taken the bus. And then there's also like the taxi function, which is directly connected to Didi. So today we are doing the metro. All you have to do is scan the QR code when you go in, and also scan it when you go out, and it will deduct automatically from your Alipay. And just like that, you did it. What's epic about the Beijing Metro is that there are 523 different stations. There's like 19 or 20 like subway lines, and then there's even other trains, but like you get the gist that it's a very extensive you know, subway system. So if you've never, you know, taken the subway before, it probably will be a bit overwhelming to you, but if you've taken even the TTC, the same, you know, rules apply, where, you know, you just follow the line color, the line number, and you look at the last station for the direction that you're going, and like that's it. It's all basically in English, as well as you know, the Chinese characters, so fairly easy to figure out. Alright, so now I'm gonna scan to exit. And there we go. And my Alipay will automatically deduct 3 yuan. At least that's been how much I've been charged the last times. I think it's 3 for wherever you go, which is like 50 US cents. Super reasonable. All right, and we are in the central business district of Beijing. I have not been here before, so exciting. Interesting about this business district is that they have a lot of construction going on, like kind of all over the place. I imagine that in like 2 to 3 years from now, this area will look totally different. That's actually such a cool building. But yeah, on this side there is a whole bunch of different skyscrapers, lots of different corporations, but of course as like a regular person you can't really go into a lot of them, but pretty cool. Y'all know me, I'm a big fan of fancy malls, so This one in the central business district called China World is supposed to be really, really good. Oh my god, even the door is fancy. So the dining is also ridiculous in this mall. Look how many different places they have to choose from. Like, I don't even know, to ballpark 50? Like 50 different restaurants and cafes and like ice cream and like bubble tea, everything. That is crazy. I just spent $10 on ice cream. I kid you not. I mean, this is some of the best ice cream I have ever had. I've had it twice before in Singapore, even though it is an Italian brand. But yeah, it's like luxury ice cream, and honestly, it is worth it. Now, you absolutely cannot come to Beijing, or Peking, I should say, as it used to be known and still is used sometimes, without trying Peking duck. Look at this absolutely incredible presentation, guys. Like, what? I got the half duck portion as well, so if you got the full one, it would be double this, but this is more than enough for me. I'll be honest and say I don't know what all the different like sauces and condiments are other than the super obvious ones, but I'm super excited to try it. So for those of you who haven't heard of Peking duck before, it is a very famous dish even from imperial times here in China. This was like what emperors ate, and it is its preparation that makes it extremely special. Most places take at least 48 hours to prepare the dish, and it kind of goes through these different rounds of like refrigeration, hanging the meat out to dry, and then a specific kind of oven to give its very crispy sort of skin. Obviously, I will begin with just some duck on its own, but look at this. The skin actually pops right off, which is interesting. It's almost like a little crust. I'll try a bit with both the meat and the crust all together. I have absolutely never had anything like that before. Wow. I'll be honest with you guys, I was a little bit afraid to actually try this dish because I have had duck in the past and I did not like it. So I was worried I wasn't gonna like love it, but of course as a signature dish, you know, you gotta give it a try.
This is incredible. This is delicious. I would absolutely regularly eat this. And the skin is, yeah, unlike anything I have ever had before. It's really hard to describe even. It is just kind of like this crispy sort of skin, but it also just quickly melts in your mouth. But the part that kind of gets me is that they also give you these sort of like, I don't even know what I have here. This is paper. I was about to eat this. Oh my god. Oh, that's embarrassing. Okay, so this is the actual kind of like, I'm gonna call it a tortilla. I'm gonna call it a tortilla, even though that's not what it is. Oh, I feel like a very dumb North American right now, but it is what it is. All right, let's make ourselves a little sandwich here. Little wrap. This is surprising. This is like cantaloupe, I think. Mint. Mint is also very surprising. And I have no idea what this is, so let me try it. It tastes like strawberry jam. Okay, sure, why not? And for sauce, I don't know, I'll try whatever this yellow stuff is in here. We're just gonna hope for the best. I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it. Let me know in the comments. It's very good. I actually like the sauce. It's almost like a mustard sort of flavor. Very rich, very flavorful. Well, guys, honestly, I could not ask for better. I literally did not think that I would love this dish this much, at least how they prepared it here. There was actually another place that I was going to go to that's like right next door that's supposed to be even more famous, but they had like a line out the door and I'm not going to sit, you know, for 30, 40 minutes just to get a table. So this place absolutely impressed me, highly would recommend, and overall a very reasonable price for just how much food you get.
So one really interesting thing just happened, but I've noticed this as a general sort of impression of Beijing so far. Because this is, you know, obviously the capital city, this is the most tourist-friendly place that, you know, you could go to probably in the country. And compared to, you know, my last trip to China, which was almost a month, but I went to places that aren't quite as popular with foreign tourists, so, you know, the language barrier was very, very difficult last time. Whereas here in Beijing, it is substantially easier, like especially anywhere in the downtown core. At a lot of the businesses, they usually will speak, you know, a little bit of English. But what's more surprising, and what I wanted to say just happened, is like I've had so many people come up on the street to either say like, you know, welcome to Beijing, or just like the loveliest ladies just came up to me and they commented on my tattoo, you know, said, oh, like, what's that? Why did you get that? And, you know, when I explained why I got now tattooed on my arm, they're like, oh, that's so cool, that's so amazing. And they ended up giving me like a whole bunch of like really great suggestions here in the city. So like super friendly. And obviously I wish I could, you know, learn some Mandarin, but like, let's be honest, I'm not going to be like having conversations anytime soon, even if I thoroughly, you know, studied it. So it is just so great to finally be able to have some conversations, you know, with locals, whereas last time I wasn't really able to do that. And I know everybody's experience will be different, but I will say that so far in the 4 days that I've been here in Beijing so far, I found people to be like extremely friendly, extremely welcoming, so it's been really, really nice. So to end off this vlog, I thought I would insert some clips from the press trip. Sadly, we only had one afternoon in Beijing before we headed off to our other two destinations, which I have a lot more footage of and will be coming in the next videos. But here in Beijing, we had a lot of interesting meetings, the first of which was with Global Times, who is China's largest English news source. They cover both domestic and international stories with a wide range of topics, including politics, culture, economics, and travel. It was really cool to be able to tour their offices and meet with some of the executives to talk about the media trends in both countries and learning about some of the really cool international events that they put on every year. From there, we actually went on a quick tour of the Forbidden City, since almost all the group had just arrived from Canada, but obviously I went earlier because I need a lot of time to film. FYI, all of the other really awesome people on the press tour were not content creators, but primarily working in journalism or government, so I was actually really honored to be there as a YouTuber. And lastly, we got to have a very special lunch in a super beautiful place with the ambassador, vice president of the Chinese People's Institute of Foreign Affairs. And then after the lunch, we actually had a meeting with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and had a super interesting conversation that sadly I could not film because you're not allowed to film in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as an outsider. But since my channel really isn't about politics, we don't really need to get into that, but I will just say we felt incredibly welcomed, and I really feel like there's going to be some really good dialogue between Chinese and Canadian relations. Well, friends, to summarize my time in Beijing, yeah, it really has been a surprise. It was very different than I was expecting, and now that I'm at the end of my trip, in a very good way. At first I thought it was, oh, you know, it's just different, but no, different in a good way. Now that I've been here quite a few days, I really enjoyed my time here. I absolutely would love to come back because, of course, there is just so much that I didn't get time to do, so I could easily spend a month here. I could easily live here for a while. Such a great city, and I actually really like that other than the tourist attractions, it's quite a chill city, and I really like that. So it's going to be interesting to compare it to Shanghai, which I will go to at the end of my trip, because initially I thought that I would like Shanghai better than Beijing, but now I don't know, I guess we will have to see. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you have been to Beijing before, what were your impressions? And once again, I really want to say a big thank you to the Embassy of China in Canada for bringing me here, for bringing me to this absolutely fabulous city. We are actually going to be heading out to Hangzhou tomorrow, so I'm really excited for that. That's another place that I've never been. So stay tuned. I am sending you so much love, and as always, keep being your own kind of beautiful. Bye guys.